How valuable is your child's life? How valuable? $1 million, $2 million, $200,000? You know, how valuable? I don't think we can put a price on it. And so I think that's why we really need to have some really good programs that's going to reach our kids.
Well, he was outgoing. He loves to fish, loves to swim, you know. He was a better fisherman than I was, you know, and he enjoyed it. I had to fight to get him out from away from the water when we went fishing, you know. But he loved people. He loved to be around people all the time. We did a lot of things together, you know, going to churches. But when we got older, I guess he started seeing the girls and whatever, you know, he started changed his mind about Dad. But that didn't change my feeling about him, though, you know. I'm Emmett Theodore Irving, Sr., and my son was Emmett Senku Irving, and he was killed on the 26th of July on 8th and Grace, shot down in the street in front of his house. It wasn't like he was coming out of a club or he was running up and down the street. He was getting out of the street with his girlfriend, going home when he got shot and killed. He's got a little girl now. She don't have a dad now because of this incident. But I'm angry that it happened. I am, you know, and I think the person who did it was sick. But I'm hoping that they will be caught, and I'm hoping that we brought to justice. You know, it's not for me to say what should be done to him or not, you know. But I think it was wrong for anybody to have his life taken that way, you know. His family will always miss me. I will always. That's all.
Samantha Buchanan, and my son was Ronald Nathan Conyers Jr. He was murdered March 31st, 2007. The last day I saw him was March the 30th, 2007. We really don't actually know what happened. We know that someone murdered him. The reason why or the motive or anything, we don't know. We just know that he was killed, shot in the head. The murder is one aspect of it, but living life and so many other things go on in your life in a realm of a year. Everything that you go through results right back to the murder. So it doesn't matter if it's your personal life or it's your job or it's anything else. Everything revolves around, it wouldn't be this bad if my son weren't dead. You know, I could probably handle certain issues, but my son gone, and then it's like extra pain on top of extra pain. But because I pray and because I've been really focused on God, it's been hard. I won't say it's not been hard. It's been bearable. It's getting better. I'm feeling better. It's just a funny time of year now where it's not his birthday time, it's not Christmas, it's not my birthday, it's not the anniversary of his death, so the months are it makes it easier the last 6 months of the year, as opposed to the first 6 months of the year. It's like tough. I guess I could say that it would mean a lot to probably find out who, probably not why, because at this point why doesn't matter to me, because my son's not coming back, and so it doesn't matter why they killed him. It's just the who, I think, is what I really would like to know.
I believe for this country and for what I believe politically and in our country that we need to be able to have the right to bear arms. I think there certainly should be restrictions, and but my mother's husband would have been able to pass to get one. I mean, he didn't have a big history with the law, so he wasn't really one that would have been denied a gun. My name is Catherine Kilborn, and my mother is Barbara Dixon. 5 years ago, she was shot on December 18th. Her husband shot her while she was in her sleep, and she had gone into the guest bedroom, and he, throughout the night, had continued to drink and get angry, and about 5 in the morning, he went in there and shot her right here in the head. So I guess it was about 6 feet length from where he was standing when he shot her. Biggest part of the bullet had lodged itself into the back of her head. And so there was going to be major complications. They gave her about a 15% chance of living for the first 72 hours. Amazed that she actually had survived that long of a surgery. She was in ICU for, I guess, a whole week with no response, on complete life support. And I guess on the 3rd day, they asked us about signing no resuscitation papers because they felt like there wasn't anything left in her, no response, no nothing. And at that time, she actually did start. It was Christmas Eve that she actually made her first response. I mean, I don't think people have a clue the devastation of really one moment in time meant, not just the devastation to the mother was so physically and mentally handicapped, that I just thought I'd go to a support group for TMIs, traumatic brain, TBIs, traumatic brain injuries. They mostly had mental, or some had physical, but not many people had both. A gunshot wound will definitely leave both. People think of when you're paralyzed, you don't feel. Well, that's if it's spinal cord. My mother was brain, so she felt everything. She felt that, and it hurt. She was very sensitive, and she would just scream and scream and scream for days and days and days. Help me is what she screamed, and that's what she was screaming the night that she was shot. That's what you could hear. And when he called 911, her husband had called 911 and had the ambulance come after he shot her, after she didn't die. And the 911 operator said, what is she doing right now? Because he was outside with his hands up, come and get me. And he's like, well, she's back in the bedroom. Well, the little lady said, go check on her. And I heard this 911 call through the trial. And he goes and checks on her, and all she's saying is, help me, somebody please help me. And that's what she said for most 4 years, when she goes psychosis. And she would do this for days. So he could have taken a baseball bat, and maybe it wouldn't have been as bad. But his anger and his thing. I don't know that it's particularly the gun, but it's the sickness in our society that's beyond the gun. It's what gets us to want to have a gun or want to use a gun. I think that those are the things that are far more affecting, not the method that's used, but why it was used in the first place.
Okay, this is Edward DuBose Jr., the infamous Bobo. I have to tell you this story really quickly. When I got married, my brother was just so excited because I had the big white dress and everything. At my reception, who was cheering for the bride? On my wedding video, it was all about Bobo when he walked in the reception and got received. Bobo is in the house, so that's just a little indication of how well he was loved in our family. My name is Glenda DuBose Matthews, and my brother was Edward DuBose Jr. He was 32 years old when he was tragically shot. My brother was a nightclub owner. He and a couple of good friends decided to go on this business venture, and my parents supported him, backed him, got all the licenses and everything that he needed to successfully open his business. He was introduced to a gentleman by the name of Leander Dubar, who my brother hired to work the door of his nightclub. And it's very interesting because my brother and Leander Dubar played softball the afternoon before, met up at the nightclub for a regular night's business, and got into an altercation at the door. There was a scuffle, and he followed my brother home and shot him 9 times. My parents are devastated, totally devastated. My father had a major heart attack, maybe, I want to say 7 or 8 months after my brother passed away. Immediately after, within a month, I lost 30 pounds, couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I went through the why me, why our family. And at the time, I was working for the government as a victims advocate, victims of domestic violence, victims of violent crimes. And it was just a passion of mine to do. Never, ever, ever had I imagined myself being in the situation where I was a victim. Before my brother died, and before I left Wilmington, I worked with probation and parole. I had my degree in criminal justice. So I set out wanting to, of course, save the world. And I thought that everybody could be rehabilitated. After my brother died, I just was so traumatic that I had to take a year off to try to get myself together. And I said, what do I want to do now? What can I do now? Because this had such an impact on my life. And I said, well, I could go back and work with adults, but maybe if I can get someone at an early age and say, when you make choices, there are consequences. When you make the good choices, obviously they're going to reap with positive consequences. But when you make poor choices like Mr. Dubar did, they affect not only you, but my family has been affected by it. His family has certainly been affected by it. And I just wanted to reach those young kids when they're trying to formalize what they're going to do for the rest of their lives. Let it not be a life of crimes, drugs, violence, and get their education so they can possibly have a better chance at life.
There's no reason a mother should be bearing her 16-year-old son, 17-year-old son, 13-year-old son. That shouldn't be happening, not here just in Wilmington, but in anywhere. Because I think one person dying is one person too many. Just one person dying. And unfortunately today, we're going to lose some young people because of gun violence. It happens every single day. I'm just one of the individuals who was blessed to be here to hopefully make a difference in someone else's life. My name is Horace Love, and I run a nonprofit organization called Choices and Consequences Violence Prevention Program. I just moved back to the Wilmington area. Let me just tell you a little bit about myself. As you probably can see, I'm paralyzed from the waist down. I'm in a wheelchair. I've been in my wheelchair for 17 years. And in 1991, I made a choice to move to Greensboro with one of my best friends. And during that time, about a week after living there, 3 guys robbed us at gunpoint, took everything, shot me in my lower back, which left me paralyzed from the waist down. I really try to show my wheelchair, this wheelchair is real. I would never walk again. And that's okay, because I have peace and joy. Walking is not important to me, because I walk every night in my dreams. And I tell people that's good enough for me, because I get a chance to, I have an opportunity to make a difference in young people's lives by sharing my story. And so what I try to share with my young kids is say, listen, education is so important. You got to graduate. And then you got to make a choice after that. But most important, when I got shot, these 3 individuals didn't just affect me. It was a domino effect. My mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my daughter, my grandparents, my aunts, my uncle. My friends here in Wilmington were affected by my injury. So I tell people, when you violate someone or hurt someone, it's a domino effect. You're not just affecting one person. And so it's a chain reaction. And that's why I try to get young people to understand the value of their life is so valuable. But the person that's sitting beside them, behind them, in front of them, their life is just as valuable.
My life is not going to be the same because my son's gone. But I got to keep living. And I hope that his girlfriend, his daughter, can make it knowing that he's gone also, you know. He's got a 14-month-old daughter that really needs him now. He's not there. And the mother of that daughter, she needs him there to help her raise that daughter. And avoid, he can be replaced by another person, but it won't be his father, you know. And one day she can ask why. And who can answer that question to her? I hope and pray that something happens in the community to change these young people around. You know, I hope that my son's death can be for a gain than a total loss. The reason behind it, I don't know, and probably will never know. But that's not important. The thing is that he was killed. Nobody should be killed in the streets like a dog. Nobody, for whatever reason. But I hope this crime is solved, and all those like that is solved, because the community is now going downhill very fast if we don't do something about this. We got to get a grip on it now.